Hello, welcome everyone to the American Center in Moscow, and thank you for joining us tonight. This event is part of our year-long series, Makers of a Nation, highlighting American makers. My name is Helen Wallace McDonald, and I'm so glad to be in conversation with our guest, textile and embroidery artist, Sharona Cantor. Hi, Sharona. Sharona, Sharona is a maker in the fullest sense. She works in hand embroidery, in film and video, in photography, flowers, food, and in the kind of small gatherings where women come together around a table to make something with their hands. Through her studio, Delicate Flowerz Embroidery, she designs custom garments and accessories, collaborates with filmmakers, teaches workshops, and introduces beginners to the craft. So before we begin our chat, I would like to spend a few minutes placing her work inside the much longer story of embroidery history in America and in Russia. So embroidery is one of the oldest crafts in the world and one of the simplest: a needle, thread, a small piece of cloth. Today, you can hold a piece in your hand that was made 300 years ago, and you can still see exactly how it was made, every stitch, every choice, every hour of work still on the surface. Almost no other craft lets you do that. The American story really begins in a schoolroom in the 1700s and early 1800s. A young girl in New England, for example, would learn embroidery the way she learned to read, at home or at small academies in places like Boston, Philadelphia, New York, often by the age of 8 or 9. And the first thing she would make was a sampler, a small rectangle of linen with the alphabet, the numbers, a verse or moral line, sometimes a house and a tree, and at the bottom, her name, her age, and the school where she'd worked on it. These were not decorations, they were proof that a child had been educated, proof she had patience, proof she could sit with a single piece of cloth for weeks at a time. The Smithsonian Institute and the Metropolitan Museum of Art hold collections of them today, and you can still read the makers' names on the cloth. They are some of the earliest signed objects in American history. So from the schoolroom, embroidery moved out into the rest of the country. Through the 19th century, women in cities and on farms stitched everyday cloth, pillowcases, tablecloths, baby clothes, and then they began to stitch together. Communities made signature quilts where every block carried a name and a date sewn by a different neighbor, given to a bride or a minister or a family moving west. A single quilt could hold a whole town. By the late 1800s, women's magazines were mailing embroidery patterns from the East Coast in Maine out to the West Coast in California, and home economics classes were teaching the basic stitches in public schools. Embroidery in America was never only a craft, it was a way ordinary people kept a record of their own lives in their own hands. If we look across to Russia, we find a tradition just as deep, worked in a different language. The earliest surviving Russian folk embroideries we know of date from the 17th century, but the practice is much older than that. Written sources describe embroidered cloths in monasteries and noble households as far back as the 11th and 12th centuries. But by the 18th and 19th centuries, embroidery was woven into daily life across the country. In the northern villages of Vologda, women stitched long linen towels, rushniki, with red threads at the bottom, at the ends, for births and weddings and feast days. And in central Russia, the everyday shirt had embroidered borders along the cuffs and the hem. There were geometric birds and trees of life and sun signs. And these are patterns that the Russian Museum of Ethnography in St. Petersburg has called an ancient language written in thread. Beginning in the late 1800s, ethnographers would go village to village to collect those cloths, and some of the richest folk embroidery collections in the world now sit in museums in St. Petersburg and Moscow. This tradition is still very much alive. In 2022, more than 200 artisans from every region of Russia each stitched a fragment representing their home, and those fragments were sewn together into a single embroidered map of the country, more than 3 meters by 6. This project came out of the Chuvash Republic, a region renowned for their embroidery. And it was on Russia Day, June 12th, 2022, that the finished map was unveiled in Cheboksary, the regional capital. Days later, it traveled to St. Petersburg to the International Economic Forum, and it has been touring the country ever since, which I think is very cool. So on both sides of the world, the story is remarkably similar. Embroidery is a craft that grew up in homes and in schools and in the hands of ordinary women working at the kitchen table after the rest of the day's work was done. It is passed from person to person, almost always face to face. It is slow and it is patient. And the objects it leaves behind are personal. They have names on them, they have dates, they were meant to last. And so that is the tradition our guest Sharona is working in. Not as a museum piece, but as a living craft. So with that, please join me in welcoming textile and embroidery artist Sharona Cantor. Hi, Sharona.
Hi, guys. How are you?
So
Good
glad
evening.
you're here. Good evening. So one thing that comes through right away is that you don't just do embroidery. It's a whole world. Film and flowers, food, photography, gathering people. So how did all of that come together into one beautiful practice, would you say?
Yeah. Hi, guys. So yeah, I mean, listen, my whole life I've been playing with different mediums like that, that interests me. Sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't. I started when I was young doing photography. Eventually that became video work. Eventually that, became, I always, the crafts, being creative, designing, it's kind of just been in my blood. I feel like I've always just gravitated towards creating and making new things. I think it just took me a really long time to find the specific one that spoke to me, maybe in a deeper level, because photography is lovely. And it opens like a whole door to seeing things in a specific way. And I think it's like seeing certain things that can make other things happen. Like it could create a piece, or I don't know. We'll get later into that. But it definitely started with photography, then to video. And from video, flowers, I started doing wedding flowers. I started working on flower farms for a little bit. Flowers just became we all love flowers. They're beautiful. They create so much joy. And I think that joy just gave me a lot of beauty in my life, and it just kind of just took off. And then I found out about embroidery, and I was doing that with some friends one night, and I didn't really think much of it. I was like, oh, cool, this is something fun. And then from that moment, I slowly started doing it more. And all this kind of just happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think of you as a designer, like you have such a design eye for all these different things, like creating this world, creating these experiences, capturing them on film, and then capturing them with thread. Tell us about Delicate Flowerz Embroidery. I love the name. Where does the name come from? And when did you realize that the name was going to be more than just a personal project?
Yeah, so I had recently moved to Richmond. This was a long time ago, like when I was 18, 19. I'd been living in Tel Aviv for a while. And then I moved back to Richmond needing a change. And Richmond is like my hometown if I come back to the States. I was hanging out with some friends. They used to call me Sweets. That was like my nickname.
Oh.
But then eventually became Delicate Flower. Like that's what they called me, because I'm a very sensitive person. I'm very sensitive. I feel a lot of things. I'm very in tune to people and their emotions and what's happening with them. So it became Delicate Flowerz. And then I made my first Instagram to Delicate Flowerz. And
you are the delicate flower.
it's me. It's me. Yeah, that was my Instagram name. And
Yeah.
it felt so much me. And normally
Yeah.
it's really hard to choose a name to like describe who you are. It's like it's
It's a
imposter syndrome.
commitment.
You feel
Yeah.
commitment. You're like, who am I to give myself a name? But my friends gave it for me, and it just like clicked right away. So it just started with that, and then I kind of just went with it.
I love that. My nickname in high school is also my Instagram handle. Maybe I should turn it into a business. Anyways, so I wanted to ask about how you told me you started embroidering because you wanted to draw, but you felt like you weren't doing the kind of drawing, like it wasn't your expression.
Yeah.
It wasn't the right way for you to get across, and you felt like you weren't such a great illustrator, drawer, drafts person. So drawing was intimidating, but a needle made sense. Is that a fair way to put that?
Yeah, that's definitely a fair way to put it. I think growing up, like, as kids, drawing is like such a dominant thing, painting, or playing the piano, or like these like very like dominant, or being a dancer, ballet dancer. It's like these things where it's like, you should be able to do this. And like, I always wanted to paint. I always wanted to draw. I still think there is a future for that. But it's like, it's how it makes sense in your head. Like drawing lines, it's different for every person in their head, like how they see an object. Like there's some people that can just draw shadows and make a face look so realistic. And like, that was my dream, to be able to do something like that. And I found it very, very difficult for me to do that. It just wasn't my like gift that came to me naturally. What I did find out later, which, I always doodled. Like I would just doodle, like if I was on the phone, like even now, like as we're talking, I just want to have a notepad and just start drawing, like a sick habit kind of thing. But I realized with like doodles, I could create small images, small.
Yeah.
And then from that, when I did learn about embroidery and started doing that, I would draw on. The drawing wouldn't be as intimidating as drawing like a face or a dog or, a sunset, or I don't know, to get the exact like moment right. But I could draw something like, for example, like I could just draw a heart, and I could do that in so many different kinds of ways, like, it doesn't have to be like so detailed and so exact. And like with thread, you can shadow in a way. I could shadow, I guess, in a way that made me feel more comfortable and more confident than using a pen and paper or charcoal or whatever you're using.
Yeah, like the needle itself and the thread, different types of thread. That must be a really fun world to get to know, just like how different colors look with different thread types. I don't know anything about thread types, but now I'm really interested in it. So that's so cool. So then you said how there was like an evening, a group of you got together and said, let's just try this. And you did, and you like figured it out, right?
Yeah.
Like, how did you
it was like 8 of us at a friend's house late, we had a day, we were just hanging out, and like us girls were just chilling, and one of my friends brought this out like as a craft that we can all do. And we were actually embroidering on felt, which was really, I don't know if you've ever used felt, but it's like thicker and fluffy, not so
fine. Yeah.
So we were playing with that, and it was just, I don't know, it just like made sense. Like you could trace something, you could draw something from your mind, you can just thread. And there's
nice.
And that whole process of like using the needle and thread just like spoke to me so much. Like it really connected with me. It zenned me out. Like it was very meditative. It just really calmed me down.
Nice quiet practice. And it seems like you immediately felt connected to it and more confident than with a pen or a pencil trying to draw. And so let's get into some of the work. If you want to, I'd love for you to show us a stitch or two, or walk us through how a piece actually begins. Like, do you sketch some and you're able to like shadow and trace some? And I'm curious about like in your teaching yourself and developing this practice and having more confidence and ownership and authority of what you know you like as a designer, like what inspires your color choices, or there's the floss, the fabrics, the hoops, the needles. Are there like types of thread that you're more loyal to? Like, just tell us a little bit about all the different pieces, because from what I know very little about it, and I'm sure there are people in the audience who do know about it. And I mean, are there 100 different kinds of thread? Are there like 2 different kinds, like?
No, there's definitely different kinds of thread, but most embroidery floss, they call it, it has 6 strands in 1 string, which gives you the option of defining if you want your work to be thick and stand out, or do you want it to be very thin and like kind of like almost with the fabric. It depends what I'm doing. This really big piece behind me, that's like a very thick string because I wanted it to just like feel very like you could touch it, like it just like felt like this like large thing. And then I have things like this where it's very small.
Wow.
And this is just 3 strands. So it's just, you can see that it's just very thin.
Wow. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
What's the name of that thread type? There's floss and
there's a lot of different brands.
It's the brands, okay.
Yeah, it's brands. I use DMC. That's a really popular brand. It just depends. Sometimes I go thrifting at craft stores and then I use what is there because it's good. It's not bad. Thread sometimes does go bad. That's a thing, like moths and stuff like that. And it just gets old. But
like it can get dry.
Yeah, it's just like the temperature. Sometimes it just doesn't, it's just not good anymore. But I've thrifted thread before, or like estate sales, I buy thread too. I started with buying thread. DMC was like the main brand that I bought from, but there's so many brands. I wouldn't be like judgmental about it. I would just say play around. That's the best thing you can do, because that's how you figure out what you like. I played with so many different kinds of brands and sizes of thread. Sometimes there's like, thread that's like, you can't really see, but it's like this thick, and this is just one strand. It's one strand.
That is pretty thick. Yeah.
You could do something based just with this. It just depends. Like it really depends on the style and like what you're trying to do. And also it depends on the fabric that you choose. If I chose a denim piece, like if I wanted to do a denim jacket, I would probably use the biggest, thickest thread that I have, so that first of all, that it could be seen on the material, and that it wouldn't, fade away, because you know what I mean? It can't be so flimsy if it's going to be on a tougher material. Whereas like something like this, where it's very like thin, you can see it.
Is that like a muslin? No.
Yeah. Kind of like that. Okay. Yeah, just like a very, very thin fabric. For this, you could do very like, delicate things, like I have something like that. And then I have something where like, so I use like I said before, in an embroidery strand, the normal floss, it's 6 strands. So I personally like to use between 1 to 3 strands when I'm doing anything. And we'll get into different kinds of stitches and stuff like that. But this is like something that I did. And if you can see this flower here,
So detailed. My goodness.
this is
Wow.
all one strand. At least the flower is.
No way.
Yeah, this is all one
Wow.
strand. The stem would be a few, like maybe 3, I would say. And you can see it's a little thicker. Like it stands
Wow.
out a little bit more.
What a beautiful stitch. What I call it, like that stem, those leaves. Is there a
Yeah,
name for that stitch?
it's called satin stitch.
Okay. Okay.
It's called satin stitch. I love a satin stitch.
You do?
I do. I do. You know, I think everyone who does any type of art medium, like, you know, you have your like go-tos, you know, the satin stitch is definitely my go-to. And the chain stitch. Chain stitch
Oh
is
yeah,
like,
chain stitch.
it's the love of my life.
It
I
is. I
it
learned
is.
it. I remember learning it when I was a child, and like that was the one we were taught and we had to learn. And
I
then
just love it.
how many stitches are there, and like what differentiates one stitch from another? Literally the order that you go in or out. Like I'm a
Definitely
beginner.
the order you go in and out, and like the look. It's a whole nother
The
look.
look.
You know?
Okay.
You can have like a French knot, which it's just like a little like here. Like you can kind of see these little dots. Those are French knots, but
Okay.
they're really small ones. Normally they're big, and there's certain people that do projects just with a French knot, and it's this whole piece of these
Oh
knots that
yeah.
have this like, and it's crazy. Like, you know,
Yeah.
there's just so much you can do with it, and that's what's
Yeah.
so fun about it is that it there's a lot of room for like just adventure in it, like, and like figuring it out, and I
Yeah.
don't
And a lot
I
of detail. Like it sounds like with the French knot, it's so small that you can really, really get detailed. And it sounds like it's preferred for that. That's a common one, right?
the first knot is, yeah, I think people like it because it's got a lot of texture to it. Like you can,
Hmm.
if it's a larger one, you can really feel it, and it like stands out. It kind of looks like a floofy thing. If you see a bunch of them, it's like a
Oh,
bunch of
okay. Yeah.
like floofy like thing. It feels like a rug almost, you know?
Yes. Embroidery in general feels really good
It
and
feels good.
thick and it just feels hearty and like strong.
It
So
is.
I have like museum background and archiving and collections and stuff. And so, I know nothing about this world of stitches, but I'm as an archivist thinking librarian type person, I'm so curious about the classification. And I think I'd be a very curious embroiderer. And now I'm like taking notes. I want to go and research like, are there ancient obscure stitches from remote parts of the world that only a handful of people know about? Like there's a whole history of this tradition. Um, and do you know, like, are there some obscure stitches that you're like, we've got to find this, like Indiana Jones going
I mean,
searching?
maybe, possibly. I
Hmm.
will say, like, I haven't dug deep into that whole sector. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I feel like with embroidery for me, it's just been like this like little world that I've created for myself. I haven't really dived into like I know basic history of it, but it's kind of
For
just
sure.
like my little world where I've
Yeah.
created for myself, where I can jump into if like things seem stressful, or if I
Hmm.
feel like I need to create something, if I need to get something out, that's something in my soul, like I need to put it out
Yeah.
there. It's been very helpful. So I just like, that's how it's been for me. I haven't really,
It's
when I make,
personal.
it's very personal. And that's the thing. Like when people like, when I do my photos or do my video, people like sometimes like to be very technical with me about stuff. And I'm like, I can be a technical person, but it's mostly about this feeling that I'm building. It's less about like what's right or what's wrong, or like how I use this, or how like it is
Mm-hmm.
about that, but it is
Hmm.
more of a feeling.
Yeah,
And
and you taught yourself so much and it came naturally to you. So you had this way of expression that it's nice when we can learn something that is technical and then like forget it to just be free and creative
exactly.
and follow design instincts and So that's where you are. And I know you were talking about denim and thrifting, and you upcycle a lot quite well. And it seems like that's a big part of embroidery world. People have whole, like you said, estate sales. People have whole collections in their home, and maybe they put them in storage, and then you can find them at these thrift stores, and hopefully it still lasts. And so I want to ask about upcycling and like how you decide what a piece of fabric wants to become, or maybe you don't think of it like that. I know your hats, like there's a lot of different fabrics that you use, and but like when it comes to upcycling, do you have a motto or like your principles or anything?
Less principles, more just like you feel the fabric, you feel if it's, first of all, you have to look at the color. Is the color working for me or not? Am I seeing something? Can I work with this? I have like a whole, this is my studio, so in one of the rooms, I have like a whole thing of like button down shirts that I've thrifted, waiting for the moment to be embroidered on. But I have like I collect it so that I have it there. And I choose colors that I think will do really well with each other. Like normally I can see, like if I see a light yellow, I'm like, oh, this is already going with that. I will show you. I am going to get up and show you a few.
Yes.
Okay. So I have
nice
like,
wow.
So,
Wow.
like these are all thrifted shirts from, some of them are not done, but
awesome.
I'll just
big letters. I love this.
I know. I sometimes go very small, and then sometimes I go really, really big. It just kind of depends on the vibe. But, I looked at this shirt. I'm like, this is a great pink, this, and it's light and it's flowy. If someone wanted to, they could wear it as a dress. If you're a really tall person, you could just wear it as a shirt. You could do so many things with it. I love a button down, but, I drew a bunch of things on it. I still need to finish it, obviously. Woo! And then, like I said, a lot of button downs.
Oh my gosh, beautiful.
And these are just like images that I've seen in real life or online, and I just recreate them in thread.
Beautiful. So beautiful. I love the details. And I have button down shirts, and I'm thinking, what can
it's a great blank canvas. You know what I mean?
Gorgeous.
It's a great blank canvas, and you can wear it, which is so much more fun. Like
you can walk around in it and walk around in your art. They're beautiful. I love the lettering. I love the details, and I love that you have this flower background and knowledge that it translates so nicely. Like the world of flowers, and it shows. So how about this? What part of your process do people almost never see but feels essential to you? And I was thinking about this question, like, I wanted to know if you work in silence or like your atmosphere, but is there a part of your process that you don't get to show, or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was at that question, like when you sent me over the questions, I was just like, oh. I mean, like no one's ever asked me that before,
Like
which
as
is
an artist.
Lovely. It's so lovely to be asked that question. There's a whole process. There's first of all, what am I doing today? What am I creating? Is it for myself? Is it for someone else? Is it a commission? It just depends on that. And then I go into this like world with me in my head where I'm drawing and listening to music. Sometimes I'm sitting in silence. Sometimes I'm looking at trees for a really long time, or the sky. Sometimes I need to go for a walk. But it's like this moment that I have with myself where it's like true connection. And it allows me to be really present with what I'm feeling, because that's the practice itself. It's stopping. It's not looking at a screen. It's not chatting with people, it's just me. And I feel like today in our world, we don't really have that time to just be with me. You know what I mean? We are we're just consumed. We're consumed with so many things that are going on. It's very hard to connect with yourself. So I'm very fortunate to have this world. It definitely allows me to be more present, and also playful. Like I'm having fun. Like I get like it feels almost childlike in a sense where, you know, I'm sitting and I'm like making all these like fun, colorful things, you know, where I feel like when you're growing up, people like to tell you that you have to be serious, you have to be an adult.
Thank you.
And obviously there are things that you have to do, you know, you have to pay your rent on time and things like that. But the playfulness is so important.
Yes, that freedom.
Because I think it's all we have, you know. If you lose that, I think you lose a big part of joy in life.
Yeah, I agree. And there's something about that, the artist space that we go to, like this freedom in our creative expression, you know, we have to have that freedom in art. And that sort of connects with how you're also creating, you know, you've said how embroidery is wonderful, but there's so much deeper meaning when it comes to people sitting together, working with their hands. And so what actually happens in the room when you're leading one of your workshops? It sounds like, you know, you've mentioned women in particular, and that there's something different that happens when women gather around this kind of quiet, very patient work. Talk a lot about patience and yeah, so that must be such a, like when you're on your own and you have your solitude and it's like a meditative quiet practice, and then with a group of people it's like a different kind of quiet practice together. So you're creating that experience and leading and teaching. Yeah,
I would say, even just side note, even with myself, the patience part, some days I feel it and some days I don't. It's very challenging sometimes. Some days it's just like everything is flowing, everything is working. And then some days it's just like I will see myself embroidering and it's like, and it's hard. It's like I can't stay still. So it's definitely like it's a choice to be present. And sometimes that choice comes easy and sometimes it doesn't. When I'm in a classroom, though, it's been really nice because the last year and a half I've been able to lead workshops, which I never thought that I would become a teacher or teach something. But it has been such a lovely addition to what I've been doing in my life. It is such a joy. People are so cool. And to sit in a room together and talk about something that means so much to me is so lovely. The classes that I've been teaching so far have mostly, I think it's just been women. I would love for men to come, but you know, that's up to them. But there is something very, very, like you said, powerful, I think, about women sitting in a room, just women together in a room. Woof, crazy things can happen. But I do think there's something deep and emotional and powerful that happens when women are sitting in a circle together, talking, connecting. I don't know if I can give an exact word to describe it, but there is a presence in the room. You can feel it kind of. It's like, it's this calm energy. It's very peaceful, and it can be very loud in the room also when this is happening. It's not like everyone's just silent. So it's just been so nice to teach people. And every time a new class comes in, I'm always like so nervous, you know, because it's nerve-wracking to be in front of people, and you still like, oh my God, can I do this? I don't know. But every time I do it, it's just such a great joy and a great feeling. We go through all the different, like we do normally like 4 different stitches. And then we have some time where I draw for them and we put stuff on fabric. And I think everyone just comes out with a whole nother perspective than when they came in. And I think it really allows the people that take the class to really take a time to stop, like I said before, to stop, to focus on something, to put the world behind them, and to really connect with maybe somebody that they didn't know before. That's the biggest thing, is the connection. Is like, maybe, you know, I don't know how it is for you guys back home where you guys are, but here, sometimes it's challenging to meet people, to meet new people, to make new friends. And I think there is something specifically about working with your hands, like if it's knitting, embroidery, something that's a little, but you know, that you can turn off the brain a little bit. And it just like allows conversations to pop up. And the things that I have heard in these classes are amazing. It's so beautiful, the conversations I've heard, and people like really connecting and like becoming friends afterwards and meeting up for coffee. And I'm just like, that's wild to me. Like, first I was just trying to teach you guys how to do something, but I didn't think this would happen as well. And it's just it's so cool.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's so cool.
An intimate practice, and that's so nice to sit with other people and learn together. And it seems like a very calming, like you said, grounding and calming practice to do. And it's also accessible. Like you said, the floss is inexpensive and you can upcycle almost anything. Anyone can sit down and start, but it's about making that choice to like sit and just relax into it. It's nice, quiet movement with your hands. I mean, I'm sure it's good for the nervous system, and that connecting with others in a quiet or intimate practice space. Yeah,
it is. But you can also just like, you can take it anywhere. Like, I've traveled so much, and like, I bring it wherever I go. You know, I can sit in a park. I don't have to be in like an office to do it. You know, I can go outside. I can go inside and go to the library. I can, you know, there's just go to the coffee shop. There's just so many ways where I can just do this.
I'll see you in the window at Sub Rosa Bakery sometimes, right? You sit and do it there. Sometimes.
Sometimes too many people. I get distracted.
Yeah.
It depends on.
Yeah. Well, embroidery has such a deep place in Russian culture too, in homes and family memory. And so I imagine a lot of people tonight are watching, thinking of their grandmother's cloth or a curtain they grew up with, which you also on both sides of your family, both grandmothers did embroidery. And your mama's mama was from Fez, right? Which is one of the founding places of embroidery. So I feel like when you started, it must have been, I wonder if it felt inherited, like your hands already knew something. Sounds like it came so naturally.
Yeah, I will correct you on one little thing. My grandma on my mom's side, I don't know if she actually practiced embroidery, but where she comes from, it is, like you said, highly enriched in that area. Like, it is textile galore. It's everywhere. But on my dad's side, my great grandmother, Dorothy, she created beautiful pieces, like insane stuff, like dresses, pillowcases, this tablecloth that's behind me.
Do you want to show us?
Yeah, this one right here. Like, this is insane work. Like, first of all, how long is this?
Wow.
But like,
wow, that was your grandmother.
This is my grandmother's work.
Oh, wow. She also was,
and it's funny, like seeing all these like aligned together, like this one, that one, and that one. Yeah. It is so because when I'm doing stuff, I don't think about like this piece at all. It's just like somehow it all like aligns in a weird way. I don't.
Oh, wow. It
But
does seem like inherited big time. That's such a beautiful connection. Wow.
but yeah,
Well,
my grandma Dorothy, she great grandmother. She
great grandmother.
definitely she had a gift. I think all the women in my family have this gift where we know how to work with our hands in a really great way. And if it, food is a big thing in my life, you'll see food probably a lot in my embroidery pieces. But from a young age, like it's been like handworking, food, design,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah, capturing moments with whether it's photography, film, or now the way you capture moments with embroidery is so special. And I like that that's what you've like chosen, you felt most comfortable and confident doing. Um, well, we're running out of time, but do you want to show some images?
Yeah.
And then we have some questions from the audience.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, why don't we pull up? Do you want to share your screen?
Yes.
Or we
Let me
can pull up the
see.
other one.
I think I am sharing it. It's here. I'll stop it and then I'll start it again. Here we go. Share screen. We're gonna do entire screen, friends. Yes, and share. All right. I think it maybe just needs. If I. Okay. It's happening. Hi guys. Bear with me. Alrighty, here we go. So,
You can open in preview, maybe.
yes, I am. I am so sorry, my friends. Just
No,
one
no.
second.
Okay.
But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys some images to give you more of a
Yes.
idea, a picture.
Beautiful.
Can we see this?
Yes, it's beautiful.
So this is some shirts that I did a few years ago. These shirts mean everything to me. Ugh, I love them so much. It
I
makes me
love them. Very, very signature look, Sharona. Very signature, like recognizable. And that's
oh,
such a
thank you.
great, sign of a true artist and designer. Oh, I
Thank
love the candelabra.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, that I think I told you about this shirt. I don't want to give too much detail, but because we don't. But I was going
Beautiful.
through some heartbreak at the time, and this shirt was like a lot of like memories of that a specific moment that just meant so
Oh,
much to me. And I was so happy that I was able to put it on
this
fabric.
window.
Yeah.
Oh, I love them. So sweet. One of the questions from the audience is if you have a favorite piece. And that one right there, I know is one of my favorites.
This one, the new one I did.
Yes, the Turkish tulip or variegated tulip, or what is the title of this one?
Bittersweet.
Bittersweet. I mean, this is so special. Would you say, do you have a favorite piece?
Um,
Probably.
I definitely do. I think it would have to be the one that I showed you earlier with the lily with the wine glass.
Mm.
Here,
Oh,
I have
yeah.
a photo of it. I can bring it up in just a moment. Let's see if it's here.
Yeah, show us any of this. Yeah.
It's on the other one, I think. Let me see. Just one momento, please. I thought it was here. Oh, wait, here. It's on this one. Yes. All right. And then we'll go large. Beautiful.
Oh,
So if you can see on the left corner on the bottom, there's a lily with a wine glass.
yes.
Yes. So
My favorite.
I think that one's my favorite. I think that was the first one that I did that that I really let myself go for it. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm going to sit and I'm going to do this, you know?
Oh,
and then a lot of the other ones came afterwards.
interesting. So one of your favorites is like one that you were super motivated and committed to doing and like tackled something. Like
Yes, it was like,
not just the look of it, but the experience of making it is part of what you
oh, here
favorite.
it is. Yeah, here on the left.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it just, yeah, I had been doing just outlines for a really long time, and something about filling it in. It does take more time and more work, and I was afraid of it. It felt overwhelming for me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You just went for it.
this is my sister on the right, Yael, wearing one of my hats, and this is my other sister, Dee Dee. These are two very important people in my life. But I've been able to play and create with them my whole life. And me and Dee Dee have cooked together. Me and Yael have cooked together. They wear my pieces, which is so lovely.
It's beautiful. Yeah. Another question from the audience is, are there any common themes or images that you find yourself returning to in your work? Which I would say I've observed, flowers, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to get out of this real quick. And I will go back to our thing and stop sharing screen. There we go. Hi. There are common themes. It's definitely flowers. And it's definitely like moments in my life. Like I will take a picture of something that I see and I'll save it for later because I'll know that I want to draw this or I want to recreate this moment on either like fabric, a shirt, a hat, something of that sort. But it's definitely plants, it's animals, it's food. I know it sounds very basic, but it really is those things. And it's so,
well, it's not basic when, like those are basic things in life, but your food and your world will look unique. And you captured it. Must be fun to be you and go through life and like see something that you take a picture of so you remember it for later to embroider. That's so interesting to think that your brain can like capture something and you can see it in your head as a piece of embroidery and you're excited to then go and do that. And everybody has a different way that they process what they see, and if they want to capture it and they want to like re-express it to the world in their own way, and you've absolutely found that. So let me ask you this.
It feels like a treasure chest sometimes. Like I'm collecting these like moments, and I'm just very fortunate to, I don't know. There's just, I feel like people are like, how do you see things? I'm like, there's things everywhere. Sometimes you maybe walk down the same street so many times, but then one day you walk down it and you're like, oh, was that there the whole time? This is crazy. This thing, could be anything.
And then you find a way to preserve it. And it's like the history, this tradition of recording our lives. And, embroidery has been around a long time, but, there's machines that make these things, more and more modern technology, but it does seem that there is an interest in so many people to continue to make it by hand just for the experience of it. And maybe that's the only way that you can really capture it, how you see it and you alone. And I really love the way the layers and the thickness, like the how it feels, like the tangibility of it. And there's so many different kinds, like so delicate and one layer, or when it's like really thick and feels like a carpet, like you said. What would you say, like, what's the biggest piece? Have you had any huge pieces that you were like, yeah, that's pretty big?
This one's, it like, maybe it doesn't look so big, but it's like.
Oh, it's big. It's
big.
Definitely big. And you have details as well as like larger swaths of, the flowers alone, like the petals themselves, you know, they're still, oh wow, it's as big as you.
It's as big as me.
Yeah.
For size. Well, you know.
Wow. Wow.
This friend took me like a month and a half. This was like the biggest thing I've ever done.
Wow. It has a lot of movement, like you can feel the rain falling.
Yeah.
What? The cloud. I love it.
But my dream is to do something even larger, like
Really?
full wall. Oh yeah, that. I mean, you know, the time and the place, you know. But if I can get like a significant chunk of time where I can just sit and work on something huge, that I just think it's just so crazy. Like I think it's outstanding when I go to museums and I see embroidery quilts or pieces that are just like full walls. It blows your mind because you know this person was sitting and working on this so diligently and so like, and who knows what was going on in their minds when they were doing this. Like there's just so many parts to it. I think it's also like to do something so large is like it is such a dedication, and it shows that dedication, and that to me is beautiful. So yeah, maybe one of these days I'll get into an art residency and I'll be able to go full on. You know.
Do you, when you say big for that, like the whole side of a building, big Times Square?
Maybe not Times Square.
I mean, I was just picturing outside your studio.
The wall, you know, let's start with one wall.
Yeah.
Let's start there. And see
do you think
how
that if you were to do something at a grand scale, do you think it would, what would you want to do? A big, huge flower, lots of flowers, a big turkey, a meal? Like, I love the turkey one you have. But do you know what you would want on your biggest one? Don't know yet.
I don't know.
Don't know yet. Well, the one you just showed us that took you a month and a half, I want to ask if did you have a deadline? Like could it have taken longer? Yes, but like, is it helpful to have that deadline?
I did have a deadline. I had my first exhibition that I had in Tel Aviv at my friend's ceramic studio. And so it was planned very last minute. So I had only a certain amount of like a month and a half to get ready for it. I had some pieces already ready. But this was like one that I was making specifically, like a newer piece for the exhibition. So I was just in hustle mode. If I had free time, I was in the studio at my friend's studio because I didn't have a studio at the time. And I was working for like 9 hours at a time, sitting down. I had it stretched out on like a big wooden thing. And I was listening to so many different radio stations, like Henry Rollins radio station, like from Black Flag. He's a big deal punk guy. And just like listening to like things that I normally wouldn't listen to, which was fun, like techno music, which I normally don't.
But it like helped you to keep going?
Honestly, the beat was like very meditative when I was doing it.
Wow.
But maybe it was also the mood and the vibe. Probably a combination of those things.
Wow. I'm excited for your next big one, and we should make it happen somehow. Like I want to see it. I want to see what you do. Another question from the audience is, why do you think embroidery and other textile arts are experiencing renewed interest today?
Great question.
Yeah.
I think it's because people are getting really, really tired of being on their screens all the time. I think it's I would agree. Our world is screens. And I think it's just really hard for people to disconnect. And I think the knitting, embroidery, and any other craft, it really allows people to reconnect with yourself. You can listen to something still, but you're not looking at something. You're looking at something that's that's you, that you're creating. It's organic. Yeah. I do think that with AI and everything else coming out, I do think there's going to be a large, even more than we see now. I think more and more things are actually going to go back to what we used to. I think there's going to be a huge like backwardsness.
We need it.
Because there's certain basic things as humans that we need, and we're not machines. You know, we have hearts and souls, and we need to attend to that.
Oh, what a nice sentiment. I agree. So I wanted to ask about, as a teacher, because I'm loving you in this like leading role in a workshop with people gathering, everything that you've described about your intention and what it means to you, like what a dreamy instructor that makes you. And I wanted to ask about, you've talked a little bit about like the things that you want your students to feel. And I just wanted to mention your student who showed you their work, however long after they took a class with you. And it was like huge and incredible. And you were so impressed and proud of them. And I just think there's something really nice about you in this role. And I also wonder, like with this big, huge piece we're talking about, you know, there might come a time in your future with Delicate Flowerz that you need other hands helping you to produce. Of
course.
Things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have, you know, your students, but I just want to mention that student because I know you were proud of that.
Yeah, it's great. It's a mind boggle moment where you're like, I taught someone something based on the little knowledge that I know, or, you know, my world in my head, you know, and they're taking this information, they're actually listening to me and
getting a lot out of
understanding, and they're creating. That's insane.
Such a good feeling.
It's a great feeling. And it's also like, it inspires me to want to do more things because it's just so cool. And also it's cool to see what people can come up with because their brain's different than mine.
Yeah. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. And I can't wait to take one of your classes and find my way with embroidery, because it seems like it's something that everybody could have their own personal like journey with, choosing it as a craft. Well,
come and take a class. Come on down.
I'll be there. Thank you so much. This has been lovely. Did I leave anything out? Is there anything you're excited about upcoming? Yeah, I know you said that you're trying to keep things like less busy, like you want to have more time to do this and not, right? Like,
yeah, I think the summer this year is a time of reflection. Nice. I really want to, it's been a busy few months for me. I had a lot of collaborations that I was doing with different brands, and it is time to slow down a little bit, maybe think about that really large piece that I would like to create, maybe work on some small things. I do have one commission for a very beautiful local flower shop that I'm so excited about. So I'm in the beginning stages of like figuring how I want that to look like. But, you know, yeah, just keeping it really, really light and really, really simple, and kind of just reconnecting, kind of maybe doing a little bit more cooking. We'll see.
Wonderful. So wonderful. I could talk to you for hours and hours. Thank you so much, Sharona, for being our featured maker. It's really, really special what you're doing. So thank you. And thank you, everyone in the audience. And we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.